Have you ever had this experience? After a busy day, you feel incredibly empty inside. Your desk is piled high with unfinished work, reports are due, and your studies are endless. By the time you get home in the evening, you're exhausted, collapsing onto the couch. After a while, you realize you haven't read a single page of a book, haven't listened to a podcast, and missed your foreign language class today. Suddenly, an overwhelming emptiness washes over you, making you blame yourself. What did I even accomplish today? In this video, I'll introduce you to the book, Make Time, How to Focus on What Matters Every Day. I hope it helps you not only use your time better, but also redesign your life. Have you noticed the book's title? Make Time. It's fascinating because the authors use the word make, meaning to create. This book wants you to, within your limited time, create asterisk time for valuable activities, rather than just cramming more tasks into less time. It doesn't aim for your day to be packed with countless tasks. The core value of this book is to guide you on how to dedicate your time to things that are truly meaningful to you asterisk. Why is this so important? The book shares a story from the author's own experience. One day, while playing with his child, he absent-mindedly picked up his phone to check emails. His child asked, "Daddy, why are you looking at your phone?" That simple question suddenly made the author realize he had misunderstood the meaning of high productivity all along. He understood that high productivity isn't just about completing important tasks, because often, you're just quickly responding to asterisk other people's asterisk priorities. High productivity isn't just about prioritizing important tasks. Those tasks must be your asterisk tasks. In other words, your time should be used for things that are genuinely valuable to you. If you've never thought about this before, it's time to wake up. What are you really spending your time on? We all know the saying, time is gold. But if we don't know what we're spending our time on, then often our time has already been taken by others. If you don't manage your time well, someone else will inevitably come and claim it. The two authors of this book are Jake and John. Both of them used to work at Google, responsible for designing major projects like Gmail and YouTube. They shared a common feeling about time management. Every day, there was an endless amount of work. So, how could they handle this massive workload and manage time most effectively? Eventually, through hypotheses and experiments, they co-authored this incredibly useful book and applied its principles to their own lives. Jake, as a result, found time to create the design sprint and saw it adopted by companies like Lego and the New York Times. John had time to fulfill his dream of traveling the world with his wife on a sailboat. Returning to the question of how to properly use time for yourself, this book presents 4 steps to help us create time. Now, I'll walk you through each step in detail, highlighting key points and explaining exactly what to do. Please listen carefully. The first step is to highlight asterisk. Define what you want to create time for. Why is our time constantly being taken away by others? The book explains that the main reason is you haven't identified your own focus. At work, your team leader or colleagues might think you have plenty of time, so they'll ask you for favors. In life or studies, you might get sucked into time-wasting activities that offer instant gratification, pulling you into a black hole of time without you even realizing it, and causing you to postpone important tasks. Therefore, to avoid having your time stolen before starting your day, you need to decide what the central task for that day is. But just deciding isn't enough. You need to write it down. Highlight means it's somewhere you'll always see it because, like a spotlight, it reminds you and grabs your attention. Remember this, the important task you need to prioritize is asterisk your asterisk task, not someone else's. So, what kind of tasks are most important to you? They need to meet 3 conditions. First, the task must be urgent. Second, it brings you satisfaction upon completion. And finally, it brings you joy and pleasure while doing it. The more a task aligns with these 3 criteria, the more you should prioritize doing it. For example, as a researcher, no matter how many emails I need to answer or other administrative tasks, I try my best to schedule those for the afternoon and dedicate the entire morning to writing research papers, because writing is my main focus. But I want to emphasize that not every important task necessarily has to be prioritized first. For instance, there are tasks with specific deadlines, like morning study sessions, or tasks you must complete according to team or company regulations. For these types of tasks, you absolutely must asterisk do them first. Once they're done, always remind yourself, what's most important to me? and get to work on it immediately. Or, in another scenario, when colleagues or friends ask you for favors, you should consider carefully and learn how to politely refuse. This is a skill you need to develop, learning to say no to many things and focusing only on your core priorities. At this point, you might ask, what if your boss asks for something? How can we refuse? In that case, you can use the technique of pushing the decision back to your boss. That is, you can ask your boss, currently I have 2 important tasks. Which one should I prioritize first? For others, use communication to decline. Nowadays, many people fear losing opportunities or offending others, so they don't dare to refuse. But you need to know that, ultimately, you are the most important person, not others. Regularly say no to protect your own time. Now let's move to step number 2, laser asterisk. We all know that a laser's penetrating power is incredibly strong, capable of cutting even diamonds. To create more time, we must learn to cultivate focus, making your concentration as sharp as a laser beam, cutting through everything that distracts you. So, how can this be achieved? Through practice, the authors advise us not to force ourselves to focus, but rather to avoid things that distract us. In today's era, technological products are precisely what steal our focus. The powerful, enchanting allure of technology is humanity's time black hole. I've tried many methods to train my focus and have come to one conclusion. Don't waste effort trying to defeat these tech products, control them, or completely cut them off. You can choose not to use them or delete apps that consume your time on your phone. This is helpful, but likely only sustainable for a short period. You'll secretly reinstall them later. Because behind every tech product are algorithms created by hundreds, even thousands of brilliant minds. Your resistance is fragile. If you can't focus, it's not because you lack willpower, it's because you're too easily linked to them. The best thing you can do is, during periods that require focus, try to sever this connection. When working, keep your phone far away or place it face down or log out of social media accounts. The extra step of logging in makes you less likely to frequently use them. For example, recently, I've tried to dedicate my phone and computer solely to work, while my iPad is for entertainment. This clear division helps me avoid distractions, control my social media usage, and manage entertainment time better. So, the way to create time is to train your ability to focus. But how do we enhance and maintain this ability? We must move on to step number 3, Energize asterisk asterisk. You need to prioritize healthy eating and focus on sleep quality. Think about it. If you start your day feeling sluggish, you certainly won't have enough spirit to complete your work, nor will you be able to resist the allure of technological products. Many people have already discussed the immense benefits of boosting your energy, so I won't go into much detail here, but directly present the methods the authors suggest. For exercise, simply maintaining a consistent workout schedule of 3 to 5 times a week, each time reaching your maximum heart rate, is ideal. Regarding diet, the authors advise us to eat like a caveman, meaning to consume foods in their most natural state, reducing processed and ready-made foods to lessen the burden on your body's nutrient absorption. Finally, for sleep, you also need to create a suitable environment. The authors observe that in primitive societies, there was no artificial light, and natural light entering caves was minimal. Therefore, they recommend that before going to bed, you reduce bright light to create an environment like twilight, signaling to your brain that it's time to sleep. You can also try what I do. Set a curfew for yourself 30 minutes before bedtime, during which you don't use your phone. Blue light from phones not only harms your eyes and skin, but also disrupts nighttime sleep. Furthermore, electromagnetic radiation from phones can potentially be carcinogenic. And finally, an equally important step that many people tend to overlook: reflect asterisk asterisk. The scientific method here is to create a habit of journaling and tracking your progress. The book reminds us to continuously optimize our work system by regularly reviewing and looking back at the core tasks you've completed. For any tasks you haven't finished at the end of the workday, take a small amount of time, about 30 minutes, to review your entire day. What did you spend your time on? If you wasted time on TV, Facebook, TikTok, or online shopping, then by reflecting, you'll consciously adjust your behavior and time usage accordingly for the next day. So that's what I wanted to share with you all. In summary, this book tells us that to become someone who has time, You don't try to manage time itself, but rather manage your focus, your mental state, and your energy. Each of us has the same 24 hours every day. To have more time, you can follow this book's method. Plan in the morning, reflect at night, and during the day, act with focus on your most important priorities. Learn to say no, maintain physical exercise, eat healthily, ensure adequate sleep, and persistently uphold these habits. I wish you success in creating more meaningful time in your own life.